director of our little flute choir here, which is actually a flute quartet for tonight. I just want to tell you a little bit about our program. We're starting with a couple of nautical-themed pieces by James Christensen, and then we're moving into a very interesting arrangement of some Flute-Clock pieces. The Flute-Clock was a mechanical device that played tunes in Haydn's time, and these are a set of pieces that Haydn wrote, and they have been arranged for flute choir. And then we're doing our favorite tune of the semester, which is from a suite called Children of the Wind. It's the movement that we're doing is Bryn-y-Celyn, which means mountain of holly. Is that what I have in the program? Mountain holly? Yep. Okay. And this is, I just think this is so interesting, especially for us Northlanders. This is about this mountain that is in the northern region of Wales called Snowdonia. Snowdonia. Isn't that interesting? And this is from a wonderful suite of music by Catherine McMichael, who is one of the foremost composers for flute, quartet, and choir. Hope you enjoy our program. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to the last band concert of the year. The last concert for some of these people up here. It's always one of my favorites and least favorite concerts of any given year. The last piece you heard, Fantasy of Flight by John Williams. Technically, it's all those pieces were by John Williams, and it was woven together by the arranger you see in there. Did you recognize every single tune in there? Yes, 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 yes. If you didn't, you have homework to do. There's so many fantastic music. John Williams, don't quote me on this, I think he turned 93 this year, and he is still composing, still writing. He actually has a concerto for tuba, for trumpet, for French horn, and no trombone yet. For those of you who don't know yet, I do play trombone. I play tuba as well, but no trombone stuff yet. I wish he would throw a little love that direction. Great music. This concert is based around the idea of flight, but flight in association kind of started with the idea of flight and air, warcraft and things like that, specifically centered around playing our last piece on the program and the concerto that we're going to do when we bring out our past alum in just a little bit. To add these other two pieces in there was kind of we had already a piece in our library about flight and air, all the themes from John Williams' films with flight, so I thought, why not add that in there? The next piece we are playing on the program is called Dusk by Bryant, and it's really just this lyrical, lush, lovely piece that is supposed to give you the kind of feeling of, or the feelings that you have. It's supposed to make you feel nostalgic and kind of this magical time around the closing of the day. So I hope you appreciate Bryant's Dusk. The next piece in the program really happened because I knew we were going to do Tame the Perilous Skies, and I thought, well, what other pieces could we do? And then I thought, wait a second, Michael is wrapping up his doctoral work. How cool would it be to feature him on a solo? So introducing this next soloist for the group, Micheal Moxley, he actually has more history with this college than I do at this point in time. This is my third year here at St. Scholastica. Michael did his undergrad work here, and he was from Staples, and I like to describe it as he was a big fish in a small pond there. He came to St. Scholastica and was a big fish in a small pond. Incredible musician, incredible tuba player, incredible singer, actually. If you have never gotten to hear him sing, he's a fantastic singer. And then he came and did his master's with me when I was working at UMD just a couple years ago on tuba. And again, he was still a big fish in a small pond. There are many people of my past students at UMD who credit their being any good at tuba with the fact that Michael was in the studio. And they'd hear him practicing, and it would push them. So it's something amazing. When we have majors in the ensemble, when we have people who are excelling, it raises the bar for everybody else. They hear other people practicing, they want to get better. And so I'm so grateful he chose to come to UMD to continue his schooling, but I still told him, I'm like, you are still this big fish in a small pond. We need to try and go and do some amazing things. I want you to be able to experience what it's like to go to a place where you are really, really appreciated with people who are practicing as much as you do, who play as well as you do. And he happened to get into the University of North Texas for his doctoral work, which, for those of you who don't know, is one of the best music schools in the world. He was doing his doctorate there with, I think he said around, did he say 60 or 42 other tuba players in the studio, just tuba majors at the school. It's about as many people as you see on stage here, all majoring in tuba. You might think, are there that many jobs for people majoring in tuba? But he honestly just sounds so beautiful, and I thought, what a cool connection for us to play a piece. The next piece we're playing happens to deal with war and people going off to war and that kind of like, same kind of battle kind of things that I thought was Tame the Perilous Skies, but how cool to bring him back with this connection so you guys get to see what alum have been up to. And I'm just so proud of him as a teacher, as a member of this college, that somebody from here is doing so incredibly well. And so it was kind of a no-brainer to feature him. So I would like to welcome onto the stage Micheal Moxley.
Thank you.
I want to say in, well, retrospect or something, I wanted to tell you a little bit about that. I didn't want to say it once he came out. I didn't want to break up the concerto. I also didn't tell you a concerto was 3 movements, which might have been nice for you to know. You're like, wow, that's a long piece, or a very short piece, who knows? The piece, just so in a nutshell so you know and can think, oh, that's what I was hearing. The first movement is about a young person going off to war and what that might feel like. The second movement is you're out on the lines thinking of home and being nostalgic for home and thinking about all these different things. The third movement is actually being in war, and the bluesy section in the middle is specifically this time where you are kind of, time slows down and stops, all the sound is away, and you're picturing, oh my gosh, these are the horrors of war, what I actually got into, and things are happening all around you, and you just are like, out-of-body experience before it gets back into actual war things. So I apologize for not telling you beforehand, but you know now. We're going to take a little second here. I'm going to step away from the mic stand, actually. This is a time for me to get to honor the graduating seniors who are, I believe, leaving the program. At least that's what they've told me. Which is also kind of special for me because I've been here 3 years. These are the seniors who were here when I was here. Whether they were freshmen, not freshmen, sophomores or juniors, depending on like where they were in their program, not juniors, freshmen or sophomores. These are the people who were here when I got here. So this is like the first students I've had that have like been here the whole time that I've left. So if you are graduating, a graduating senior, would you please come up and join me in this little stretch of area over here, please? Come on. This is such a fantastic group of people. I would like them to go down the line and just say what's next, like what's happening next for them. I'm curious to know, and just let everybody know what's going on.
Should I say my name? Or? No, just say it. Go on here. Yeah. My name is Haley. I play clarinet. I'm going to spend a year probably doing research and then go to the cities to do a master's or PhD in microbiology.
I'm Maddie, and this fall I'm starting at St. Thomas Law in Minneapolis.
I'm Emily. I'm going into St. Jude's Biomedical Sciences PhD program.
I'm also Emily, and I'm going into PT school in June here.
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm moving home and getting a job in human services.
Hello, I'm Lindsay. I'm going to be staying in Duluth and working at Elite as an HR analyst doing payroll.
I'm Jacob, and I'm going to be moving down to Memphis, Tennessee for nursing.
My name's Derek, and I will be working at a tax firm here in Duluth, Colquitt, Seats and Goldman, and I'll be pursuing my CPA license this summer.
I just want to say, again, one more round of applause for all of these amazing students. You have all made my time here pretty incredible, and especially the first year I had here, really, the onboarding was really effortless, and I felt so supported. So thank you so much for everything you did for me. I really appreciate it. And I will expect you to be not strangers. So thank you so much. Okie dokie. The last piece on the program, To Tame the Perilous Skies, by David Holsinger. This was commissioned as a piece to commemorate all those who have fought for this country, all those who will fight for this country, all those who serve the country itself, and not even just this country, anybody who serves for the greater good of other people so that other people may be free and be free from tyranny and oppression. And it is somewhat programmatic in that it does depict at times actual forces opposing each other, especially in flight. But I think you will hear that it does actually triumph at the end for good. But it's also, I should mention that I'm very proud of this group of people for being able to tackle this work. This is one of, if not the most difficult pieces I have thrown in front of this group in the time that I've been here, and they are doing a really laudable job at achieving this piece very successfully. So I just want to thank them, and since I won't say it afterwards, this will be the last thing we end the concert with, I just wanted to say how much I appreciate everybody, not just the seniors, but everybody who's sitting behind this group. Most of them, this is not their major or main focus while they're here. They choose to continue to make music here while they are in school, and only by all these amazing students who are in other majors choosing to continue to pursue and support this art form and their love of music, it's the only way that it works for us to keep a program like this going. So we have, in my opinion, one of the stronger bands of a school in relation to number of majors. And it just feels like such a vibrant community of music making. So the choir concert was last night. There was a jazz concert on this past Thursday. There's another jazz concert happening Friday. Next week, a Benedictine Boogie swing band concert if you want to come out and dance and hear some swing music. There's always things happening. And the administration here supports all of this music making so much. So I just really appreciate these students and the amazing job I get to have coming to work and working with them and performing some crazy stuff like this. And it just warms my heart. So thank these students so much.
Thank you.